Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a dedicated review on the new Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 Rose eyeshadow palette. I also have the original eyeshadow palette here to compare for you guys. I have been waiting for my Canada Post guy to come to my house. I was looking out the window and sure enough, there he was. So filming it now. I've been waiting all day for this to get up a review for you guys. Was hoping to get it up on Monday night, but it's probably going to be up on Tuesday when you're watching this. But I am so excited to play around with this. And after this video, you're going to see my sale haul because that came in the mail as well. Still waiting on a bunch of stuff to come in stock though, because half my order is out of stock, or what I want to order. Here is what she looks like. I love the design of this palette, how they did that trim for this particular eyeshadow palette is definitely different from the first one, which looks like this. Mine is just covered in my fingerprints. Use it all the time. And this is gonna be really nice to pick up because even for the face palette, those two are identical for the packaging. You just kind of gotta look for the name or on the back to see which one it is that you're picking up. So I love that variation in the packaging. We have the same setup as the first palette. We have 10 eyeshadows, 2 creams in here, bunch of different finishes. I believe all the bottom row are mattes though, and then the top row is where you get the different finishes. We have a mix of warm, cool, neutral, matte satin, and pearlescent shades with 2 cream bases. The bases in this palette help to create depth and dimension. I don't reach for them as much as the eyeshadows in the first palette. I foresee that being the same for here, but that's what I feel makes these palettes unique, is the addition of those creams. I love how it's covered with that little plastic covering in this palette to keep any eyeshadow out of the cream. She retails for $87 Canadian, $68 US. It is a pricey palette. The color story of this one kind of reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury 12 Pan Pillow Talk eyeshadow palette. I never ended up picking that up. It is a limited edition palette. Still saw it available on Charlotte Tilbury's website, but the color story does remind me of that palette just upon first looking at this. If I had it, I'd swatch it next, but I'm going to be swatching both the first and the second palette next to each other so you can kind of see the differences in the tones in this palette, the glitters, the mattes, the satins, all the different kinds of shades and finishes. You can kind of see next to it. Is this worth the addition for you? Do you like one more than the other? A big point of difference between the two palettes is that the first palette is vegan and the second one is not vegan. So if you're looking for vegan makeup, there is the addition of carmine for those red rosy tone eyeshadows in the second palette. So beware, because I know the first one was vegan, this one isn't, unfortunately. It would have been nice for them to find an alternative to that red pigmentation just to keep it consistent, because having one vegan and then one not vegan, you don't want to go backwards, you know? Still cruelty free, but just wanted to note for the pigmentation for the red, because I know a lot of people will not use that the second palette is not vegan. With all that being said, I want to dive into this palette, see if it's the same kind of formula that I love from the first palette. It's one of my favorite palettes, honestly, the first one. And just looking at it visually, I still would probably pick the first one over the second, just my personal preference, but it's still warranted the buy for me. I cannot wait to play with this on my eyes. So I'm going to zoom you guys in so you can see the look that I create. I was wanting to keep it nice and light on the top of my eye and do kind of a reverse cat eye using the cream to create depth and smudging that out. Just thought that would be really pretty. So I have an idea for the look I'm going to do. I hope it turns out the way I want it to. I'm going to zoom you guys in. I have you zoomed in. I will link all the other products that I have on my face down below in the description box in case you are curious. I am sick right now, so if you can hear that in my voice, I'm sick. I had to put those Lumi drops in my eyes because they were so red this morning that I'm like, I cannot use a rose tone palette like this on red eyes because that's just gonna make me look even more sick. So those saved my life truly, else you guys would have been like, what is going on with Cheryl? I'm going to start off with the lightest shade and just apply that to my eye. Then I'm gonna gradually deepen it up. This can kind of act as highlight under the brow bone and just have a little bit of the same sort of texture when I blend on other shades. This is a really nice highlighting shade for my skin tone. I really like the pinky peach quality to it. It's really pretty. And then I think I'm gonna use this shade to create the depth. The other one has more purple to it. I really like this shade to be the shade that I'd use majority of the time for transition. So I'm just kind of going with what I personally would wear. And we're just going to also throw this on the lid and just buff it out. It's going to be a really easy, simple eye look. The mattes are honestly stunning. Same sort of consistency that I would expect since the last one. Blend like a dream. Has that pigment there. Just really easy to work with. I'm going to clean up the edges once I'm done, and I'm going to pop some sparkle on the lid. I just don't know what to use yet. I'm going to do that at the end because I want to use a cream on the lower lash line and really smoke that out. So I'm going to start by putting some eyeliner in my waterline. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. Probably going to have to go over this again. Then taking a smudger brush, I'm going to use the deepest cream in the palette. We're going to smudge out that line. And then to set it in place, because these creams are quite emollient. They do dry down, but they are very emollient. So I'm going to be putting powder on top. They do work best as a base prior to the powders. I'm also going to create a winged out shape, just following the natural shape of my lower lash line. Now that that is down, I'm going to take a teeny tiny pencil brush, this 03 rougher brush. I'm going to go in with this shade right here and smoke out and set that cream. If you have fine lines underneath your eye like me, putting the cream on the lower lash line can be a little bit risky, honestly, because it can go into those creases, which I am noticing a little bit. But because I'm going to be smoking this out a lot more, it's not that big of an issue because I can kind of cover up those lines. Little secrets, just cover up my wrinkles with shadow. Then I'm going to go back with this shade, and this is a rougher 02, and then just blend that out even further. I love how these rose tones really bring out the green in my eyes. It's super flattering if you have any sort of green in your eyes, blue, brown eyes, whatever. I find these sort of colors really enhance eye color in general. Like, they're so pretty, just especially find it pretty compared to other shades for my green eyes specifically, just because red is the opposite of green on the color wheel, so it really brings out the green. This I didn't get in my wrinkles all that much. Worked out a little bit better. I find this stage looks a little bit odd because it's so bottom heavy. With the right mascara, a little bit of lashes, I just love how this sort of eye looks. I don't do it often, but I wanted to do it today because I figured everyone else would be doing something more smoky on the upper eyelid. And now I'm going to swatch these 3 shades on my finger and kind of decide what I want to lightly put all over my lid. I think I'm going to take this shade right here, and we're going to lightly put that on the lid. Just add a little bit of sparkle and fun. A little bit of fallout on my cheeks, but we'll brush that away. To be expected. Normally I do my eyes first, but even with a reverse smoky eye, I tend to do it last. Well, not last, but after foundation. So those are the eyes complete. As I said, I'm keeping it light on top, smoky on the bottom. I'm just going to go off camera, finish off the eyes with some mascara, lashes, come back. We're going to talk more about the palette. I'm back. Here is the completed look. Really easy to do. I actually added a little bit of the lightest glitter shade to the inner corner of my eye. I have on one of my favorite pairs of Kiss lashes in their So Wispy collection. If you love wispy lashes, this whole thing right here, you're gonna love. So I have one of those on. I'll link the exact style down below, but I always use it in the pack. I always buy those packs. I'm pretty sure I had lipstick on my teeth for this whole video, but such is life. It's a minor thing that's happened to me lately. My overall thoughts on this palette performed exactly the same as the first one, so my expectation to meet that level was the same. What I find personally appealing about the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palettes are how they are laid out. I really love how you can create a look like I did, basically just with the shades that are across from each other. You got your matte and then you got the corresponding glitter shade to really amp up the look, and you can make it daytime, nighttime, go a little bit deeper, plus amp it up even more with those cream bases and smoke things out, because a cream eyeshadow like that I find makes it the most easy to get that smoky look. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to achieve with eyeshadow, in my personal opinion, than how a cream blends. So I love the addition of that to the palette. Did that for my lower lash line. It is a really easy look to do, but super impactful, I feel like, with the colors in my personal eye color. And I just love a good reverse smoky eye. I haven't done it probably since the summer, so I'm really loving how it looks. I hope you guys enjoyed the look, even though it's super basic. I personally really love the eyeshadow palette. I'm surprised it actually hasn't sold out yet, considering it is during the Sephora sale right now, so you can save some money on it if you're purchasing now. I will have those details down below in case you are a ROUGE VIB Insider member at Sephora. This video is going up during the sale time, so perfect time to purchase it is on the Sephora website. Save a little bit of money like I did. There are pros and cons to the palette, especially if you were expecting it to be a vegan formula like the first one. It will be definitely disappointing for you, so I don't like how that changed for this palette. They should have found a alternative to carmine for the red pigment in those particular eyeshadows. The price point is high, but as I said, during the sale, perfect time to get it. Layout is beautiful, formulation is beautiful, super easy to work with for me, and something that I definitely would repurchase again. I mean, I love the first one, happy to have the second. It was a no-brainer for me. There was no hemming and hawing about it. I was going to purchase that palette as soon as I heard about its release, which was perfect timing during the sale. Save some money on it this time, so I love the timing of it. It worked out perfectly for me. And if you were a fan of the first one, you're definitely going to love the formula of the second one. The mattes are just as beautiful. The pearlescent shades in the palette definitely apply much better with a finger than with a brush. When I was applying the inner corner, I could just tell that it's a little bit more crumbly. Sometimes I don't like to use my finger and I do prefer a brush, but for those specific shades, you definitely would want to use your finger as a preference just because it provides less fallout. In the pan itself, it's not as crumbly. All in all, it's a worthwhile palette for me personally to invest in, and if you're similar to me, you're definitely gonna love the palette. So I hope you guys enjoyed the look. The tutorial, I know this video is pretty short and sweet just because it's dedicated and I wanted to get this up as soon as I could for you guys so you can save that money during the sale. I will have my Sephora haul coming up next, so I cannot wait for you guys to see that. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you have not subscribed already, new to my channel, or have not subscribed, I would love for you to do so by hitting the red subscribe button, the bell if you want to be notified of all my future videos, and I will see you guys in my next video.